right. So today we are covering, it's our Rev Up series. Every Tuesday is our Rev Up series. We are covering setting yourself up for success, kind of like realtor basics. Okay. And there's some good nuggets in here, so pay attention. You'll probably pick something up, but let's get started. Assuming that my screen will participate in the process. There we go. Our learning objectives today, we're going to talk about your one value proposition, your bio, your voicemail greeting, business basics, agent financials, branding, online presence, and marketing. They all kind of lead together to create one unit. So we're going to cover them all today. As always, if you have questions, you can unmute yourself and just interrupt me. You can raise your little Zoomy hand. You can throw your comments or questions in the chat box. I have them all open. If you unmute yourself, I generally see that you've unmuted yourself. So I will probably ask you if you have a question. If you are shy about interrupting me and you can't remember where to find the little hand raise. So there's lots of options to interact with us today. If you happen to be watching this on replay, because I know we have a lot of agents that tune in and watch it on replay, you can throw your questions in the comment section. We usually get notified so that I can answer those questions, or you can feel free to text me directly. So our learning objectives today, I just covered that. Let's get started on our one value proposition. All right, so your one value proposition is what, hold on, I got to rearrange my windows again. My other screen's not big enough. All right, right. It's for client attraction, right? Why would a client associate themselves with you and your company? What kind of services do you provide? And what makes you unique? Or how do you set yourself apart from other agents? Okay, so those are some of the ideas behind a one value proposition. It's not quite a slogan. It's going to be a little bit more involved than a slogan, but it's kind of like your elevator speech. Like if somebody was like, why would I use you? That's going to be your one value proposition. What do you offer that somebody else doesn't? So we have some examples of a one value proposition. Here we go, our examples of the one value proposition. So the first one is, through my 7 years of real estate experience selling both commercial and residential property, I know I can make your real estate dreams a reality. Whether you're hoping to buy your first house or sell commercial property to receive a nice return on investment, I will use my skills and expertise to advise you on the most effective buying and selling strategy and find you the best price. I promise to make your real estate endeavors simple and hassle-free. So you can feel encouraged and excited about the next chapter of your life, right? That's what people want when they go to buy and sell a house. They want it to be simple and hassle-free. They want to get the best price on a property, right? So that kind of covers, like, you hear that. If somebody told you that, you'd be like, oh man, I should work with that person, right? What's going to set you apart? The next one, having grown up in the Waukesha County area, I'm excited to bring my skills and expertise to the local community to help families find their new homes. For the last 4 years, I've assisted couples in buying their starter home and helped others find a larger space for their growing family. Once I learn about your ideal future home, I will work tirelessly to ensure that we find you the best property at the most affordable price. Okay, this one's really aimed at buyers. So just kind of keep that in mind. You may want to make sure that you tweak it just a little bit so that it is aimed both at buyers and sellers. Because remember, we ultimately want to be seller focused. But this is great, right? I'm going to work tirelessly to ensure that we find you the best property, right? Once I learn about your ideal future home, it kind of draws you in and makes you want to do business with this agent. So that's what you're looking for in your one value proposition. You could have, if you're like new to real estate, so you don't have 4 years of experience, that's okay. You could leave like that part out, right? So you could just leave that sentence out, put something new in there. So I kind of like that one because you can tweak it just a little bit to not, if you don't have much experience. Buying and selling, keep in mind too, that even if you've only had your license for a year, but you helped yourself, buy your own house, even with another agent, right? And you did that 3 or 4 years ago, or you bought or sold a couple homes before you got your license. You can count that as real estate experience, right? It's all in how you spin your story and all in what you share. Buying and selling commercial property doesn't have to be a challenge. Through my 7 years of experience, I've had the pleasure of helping clients buy over 40 properties at a reasonable rate and sell over 50 commercial buildings. Using my skills and expertise, I know I can assist you in your real estate goals by consulting with you on different buying or selling strategies and helping you find the best space for the right price. Whether you're looking to expand your business operations or make a profit on your office space, I can help make the process easy. So notice all of these kind of open up with like, here's the area in which I service, whether it's residential or commercial or both. Here's the second one talked about like the general area in which they service, right? Then it kind of goes into like who they are, what they bring to the table, what the agent brings to the table, skills and expertise. I've assisted couples in buying starter homes and finding larger spaces. Right. I've helped you buy a first home, receive a nice return on your investment. Right. And then it goes into the what sets you apart from other agents. Right. I'm going to use my skills and expertise to advise you on the most effective buying or selling strategies. I'm going to work tirelessly to ensure that we help find the best property at the most affordable price. Right. So all of those things, I can help make the process easy. So all those things, that's kind of how they're all set up. It's kind of like service area or clientele or your niche or your key person that you're trying to help. Then some background kind of tucked in there in a sly way. And then what you're going to do to help them and what's going to set you apart from other agents, what makes you unique. Any questions about that one value proposition? All right. This one value proposition, again, this is kind of gonna, if you practice it, it kind of becomes your elevator speech that like what sets you apart. So if somebody else, asks you, why would I use you versus somebody else? You can say the whole thing, or you could dive into well, I'm going to dig into what your ideal future home looks like. And then I'm going to work tirelessly to ensure that we find you the best property at the most affordable price, right? So you can dive into that as part of your elevator speech. You can also incorporate this into your bio, which we're going to talk about here in just a moment. So this has lots of uses. This is a great thing to put on as you start creating your online profiles, which we'll also talk about. Putting that one value proposition out there is going to help draw people in to use you over other agents. All right. The next thing that you want to do is you want to create a bio, right? So most of our realtor sites, including your Barry's site, realtor.com, your car profile, on your Realty One group, on your website, if you have a Zillow profile, your social media, you should have a bio on there. Okay. Your bio should state your real estate experience if you have some. And again, feel free to spin your real estate experience. If you're like, Amy, I've only had my license for a couple of months, but I have bought and sold a couple of houses on my own, right? Then you could be like, hey, I've got experience. I've been in the real estate industry for 4 years or 6 years, right? So feel free to spin that however you want to. If you don't have a lot of real estate experience, you can also just chuck it out the window and not include that as part of your bio. You want to convey the connection to the area you're going to sell in. How long have you lived there? What's your vested interest in it? What makes this area important to you so that you connect with those potential buyers and sellers on a personal level? Okay. Emphasize the value you provide your clients. Okay. So that's going to be where you bring in that one value proposition, the value that you provide your clients. You can include any special designations, any awards that you've won. You can also include if you've gone to specialized classes or anything like that, something that would set you apart. You could include that as well. And then you also want to tell a story or include some personal information about yourself. What do you enjoy doing in your free time? Are you married, not married? Whatever it might be. Do you love animals? Do you rescue dogs? Whatever it is that might cause people to connect with you. That's the goal of the bio. It's going to cause that personal connection, because although we're working to conduct a business transaction, people are going to connect with us on a personal level. Okay. So you're going to have your one value proposition. You also want to create a bio. If you're like, Amy, this is not my cup of tea. I don't know that I can do that. That's okay. There's places out there like Fiverr. I think it's Fivrr. You can hire somebody for like $10 to write your bio for you. They're going to ask you some questions. You fill in their info sheet. There's usually some examples when you look at all the people to hire to write a bio. And then they'll put that together and write it for you so that you don't have to. You can also, now that we have AI, you could plug that into like Chat GPT and write a bio for me, include the following items, just include those bullet points, and then it'll spit out a bio. If you don't like exactly how it sounds, you can change that up and say rewrite it with a humorous tone or rewrite it with a professional tone, and Chat GPT will rewrite that for you. So that's a good place to start. Even if you just take that first draft after it spits it out, then you go in there and tweak it yourself. There's so many options now that make it so easy for us to create a bio or a one value proposition using technology. So any questions about your bio? Okay, next, your voicemail greeting. If you call my phone, my voicemail greeting is not a good example of what you should have as a voicemail greeting. Your voicemail greeting, right? What people, when you don't answer your phone, it goes to voicemail, or you're with a client, you send it to voicemail. What are people hearing? That's super important because for a lot of our people, that's going to show how professional you are, right? It's going to set that up for success. It's also going to set expectations of when they're going to hear back from you. And it's going to introduce you to who they are, introduce you to them, because sometimes it might be a sign call or somebody who doesn't know you. That's the ultimate goal. So you want to create a 15 to 30-second commercial that's going to boost your business. Okay. Let your voicemail greeting be your first impression that can instantly set you apart from other agents. And again, you're going to set the expectations for the callback. Okay. You don't want the ordinary voicemail that you've heard 1,000 times. This is Amy. Please leave a message for a faster response. Send a text message, right? You want it to be powerful, passion charged, right? It's sometimes your only chance to make that first impression, and it can instantly set you apart from those other agents. So make sure that you spend some time coming up with that voicemail greeting. I would highly recommend that you pull in that one value proposition. That's why I said you need to start there and then go to your bio. And now we're on the voicemail greeting, because you can pull in that one value proposition into your voicemail greeting. Okay. We spend so much time trying to get our phone to ring. Like, that's our ultimate goal, is that our phone starts ringing because people have heard of us. We've been referred to them. They're calling off our sign calls. They see our open house signs. Like, we spend all this time trying to get people to pick up the phone to call us so that we don't have to go knock on doors to get business. So we want to make sure that we capture every call. Okay. So it's going to start with that voicemail greeting. You could listen to your current voicemail if you've got one, and how does it make you feel? Does it move you? Is it memorable? Is it a good representation of who you are and what you want people to think of you? You want to make sure, again, take some time to outline a new message, decide what items to include, such as a call to action, your selling strengths, why you're in real estate, how you can or want to help people, your company name, and what you specialize in or your primary purpose, right? So really that pulls in that one value proposition. You don't want to necessarily be redundant or state the obvious. Okay. Use words that you would normally use so that it flows and sounds natural. Don't try to sound like someone else. You may want to write that message down and read through it multiple times before you go to hit record. In fact, you may even want to read it to like your friends or a spouse or another agent in our office, so that they can maybe critique it or be like, oh, that's amazing, right? Once you've recorded your message, make sure that it recorded well. So make sure you listen back to it to make sure there weren't any gaps or didn't cut out or anything in the recording process, so that you have that outstanding first impression. Any questions about the voicemail greeting? Does anyone on here have a fabulous voicemail greeting? No one. All right. So that's everyone's homework today is make sure you get that done. New voicemail greeting for everyone on the call today.
You know who has a great one? Sorry,
Who?
Amy. Scott, the gentleman that's been on here a few times, the AI
Oh,
guy.
the AI guy.
I would love for him to give us his script because it's like it's so clear. And he talks about, he's like, yeah, if you've reached me from this time to this time, I'm spending time with my other passion, my family. Like he's
Yeah.
very just boundaries from the start. And I'm like, I need this. And then of course, I didn't want to call him again to get like to record it.
I will reach out to him and see if he will share that with us.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, hold on. Let me get my sticky out because, you know, if it's not on a sticky, it doesn't happen. Scott, voicemail, greeting. I just spelled greeting wrong, but you guys didn't see it, so it's okay. I will get Scott's. I will post it in the probably in the Facebook group.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Absolutely. All right. Business basics. Okay. Prepare now for the future, especially if you're a new agent. I can't emphasize this enough. Like, get started on the right foot, and setting up your business appropriately is so important to not the success of your business per se, but really you being able to scale and grow your business as you start getting busy. So I would recommend having a separate phone number for business. What goes on your for sale signs, what goes on your marketing materials, what's on your card is separate from your personal phone. Okay. They can both be received by the personal phone. I think there's actually a way to do that. I actually started that process. Let's see. I think it's called Sideline. There's an app called Sideline that allows you to pull in two different phones. I think some of the newer iPhones, because mine's kind of old, allow you to have two numbers pulled in. But I would recommend having a separate phone number. And why do I recommend that? Because at some point, as Claudia just clearly mentioned, it's good to have boundaries. It's good to have family time. And at some point, you should go on vacation and you shouldn't be tied to your phone. Whoever is watching over your business while you're on vacation, whether it's your admin or a fellow associate agent in the office, you want to be able to forward those calls to that other person so that you don't have to worry about managing that while you're on vacation or while you're spending time with family. Okay. So I highly recommend a separate phone number. I didn't do this, and my personal life and my business life is intertwined. I'm actually thinking about moving over to a personal number. I will take my personal contacts and get a new number for where I currently live, because that's a whole nother issue out here, is calling with a non-local number. Sometimes it's hard to get people to call you back. So I will probably keep my phone number that I've had now for 22 years as my business number and move the other one over to personal. And that way I can separate them out. But I highly recommend that. Make sure you have a business email. Okay, business email. And I don't recommend using a company email, if that makes sense. But I also don't recommend using a Gmail account. Okay, and here's why. Not that I don't recommend using Gmail, because I love Gmail and all my accounts are Gmail accounts, but not one that ends in gmail.com. It's like $20 a year to have Google host a domain for you so that you can be Kimberly at isellvacaville.com. Okay. Because that way you look professional. When people ask what your email is or they go to email you, it's not like Amy Petard, gmail.com, right? It looks professional. It's not that hard to do it. You can also have your own web domain at the same time. So usually those go hand in hand. You kind of create your own domain. You buy the domain and you usually buy it for a period of time. I would recommend buying your domain for 3 to 5 years before it renews. It searches better if you're going to use that in as like your website. And then you don't have to worry about it for a while. You can go to like GoDaddy to do it. I think you can actually buy domains now through Google Business. You have to go into actually like Google Business. And I think Google Business charges me like $3 a month for my business email. So I've got a amy@cyberbacker.com or cyberbackernorcal.com email address. That's hosted by Google. So I still have all the features that are allotted to me through Google and Gmail, the Google suite of docs and all those, the drive and all of that through there. It's like $3 a month. I actually bought my domain through GoDaddy because all my domains are through GoDaddy. And if you're like, but Amy, I don't want my own website, I don't want to create that. You don't have to. You know what's really cool about your own web domain is that you can set it up to forward to your Realty One group free website. How cool is that? Somebody can go to isellvacavillehomes.com and it'll redirect to Kimberly's website that she is free through Realty One Group. So there's so many options there. But if you think about it now to put it into practice, then it makes it so much easier. The reason that I recommend not putting the company email in is if something happens down the road, you end up moving out of the area, you don't lose your email contacts. Okay, it's just a better situation. I doubt that you'll ever want to leave the company that you're with currently, but sometimes we do move, and then that means that we have to switch brokerages because we move out of state or north or south or wherever we end up going. And then just having your own email that you own will be a benefit to you in the long run. I highly recommend doing that. Any questions about these items? All right. Bank accounts, agent financials. Please, please, please make sure that you have separate checking account and savings account that you use just for your business. Okay, all your income should go into those accounts and all of your expenses should come out of those accounts that are business based. Nothing else should come out of those accounts except for you should transfer money once a month or twice a month into your regular checking for you to live off of. Whatever you need for living expenses, that's going to be one lump sum transfer into your regular personal account to utilize for personal expenses. Okay. We don't want to be running personal expenses through our business accounts, and they don't have to be actual business accounts. You can just open up separate personal accounts that are tagged for business. Okay. So it doesn't have to be. Sometimes, depending on what bank you use, the business accounts charge you money or have different loopholes you have to jump through. They're kind of a hassle. So if you don't want to jump through those hassles, you can utilize just your regular personal accounts or like a personal account for that, but not the one that you're using for personal expenses. I hope that makes sense. So all income should get deposited into the business accounts. All business expenses should come out of the business accounts. And the only money that comes out of those accounts that's not for business is the money that you're going to live off of. Basically, you're going to pay yourself a wage to live off of, and that's going to get transferred into your personal accounts. Okay, any questions about those bank accounts? Don't put this off. Okay, remember that now you're a realtor, which means that you are a business owner. Okay. And that comes with a lot of other bonuses and some downfalls associated with it. But you are a business owner and you're probably much more successful than lots of business owners out there because, you know, we're doing pretty good selling multi-million dollars of real estate on an annual basis. So kind of keep that in mind. But with that means that the government's no longer taking taxes out of our paychecks. So we need to be saving 25 to 30% of all income for our taxes. And if we're lucky enough to not have to pay in that tax bracket because we've utilized all of the write-offs and the loopholes that we can legally utilize in our taxes, then that just becomes your year-end bonus, right? So if we don't use all that tax money, then you can use that as your bonus. I would recommend we have our personal, or we have our business checking account, our business savings account, and then I would have a secondary savings account for that tax fund so that you make sure to not accidentally take money from that should have been pinpointed or earmarked for taxes. So 25 to 30% of all your income should go into a tax account so that you're ready when you need to pay taxes. Okay. In addition to that, you should weigh your options on paying quarterly taxes versus waiting until April 15th to pay your taxes, which just passed yesterday. So I hope everybody filed their taxes. But you can pay quarterly taxes. So each quarter you pay some money to the IRS, and they hold it in an account for you that doesn't gain any interest or have any value for you, except at the end of the year, you don't get hit with what they call a underpayment penalty. Okay, so if we don't pay our taxes all year and then we go to pay them, in April for the next year, and the government's like, oh, well, you haven't put any money into our accounts yet, and you owe us $10,000. So there's an underpayment penalty, and they'll assess you $100 to $200 underpayment penalty on top of the taxes that you owe, and you can alleviate that by paying quarterly taxes. Now, with quarterly taxes, you probably want to have a tax professional help you with what you should be sending them, because we don't want to send the IRS more money than we owe, because it's going to take a little while to get it back. In addition to that, we're not earning interest on the money that's sitting in our account with the IRS. So we would rather send them a little less than what's going to cover our total balance due, than a little more, because then that money can be sitting in your own personal account gaining interest. I also highly recommend, since you're now a business owner, that you talk with a tax professional to find out what potential write-offs you can take to maximize your tax savings. We do have a tax professional who has been trained in the Robert Kiyosaki system for tax-free wealth. She will be coming on, Cindy Diller will be coming on and doing a class for us in June. So stay tuned for that date. But she'll be joining us and talking with us about ways to maximize your tax savings. The other thing that you may want to investigate with your tax professional or a financial planner is the best way to set yourself up for success, whether you should remain an individual and have your commissions paid to your social security number, or whether you should become a corporation or an LLC and get your own employment ID number with the government, and then have your commissions paid to the corporation and LLC first to help shelter some of the taxes, and then you get paid wages out of that entity. So just a few things that you may want to keep in mind. Also, the other thing there that I was thinking, if you are going to set up your corporation or LLC, if you're instructed by your tax professional that that's a good idea and that's what you should do, make sure that you're the only one on that corporation or LLC. And the reason that I say that is because if you put your spouse or significant other onto that corporation or LLC, technically, Realty One Group cannot pay commissions to that corporation if you're both on it, because that means they're paying commissions to an unlicensed entity, because only one of you is licensed, not both. So make sure you're the only one that's on that, because it needs to get paid to a licensed entity, which would be you as the owner of that entity. Okay. Any questions about those items? All right, moving right along. Agent financials, additional success items. Number one, make sure that you have a P&L each and every month. And you're like, Amy, what's a P&L? That's your profit and loss statement. You should be running, I utilize QuickBooks Small Business for mine. All of my expenses go in, they all get categorized and assigned their accounting code. All of my income goes into there, and each month I balance it out with my accounts to make sure everything's accurate and correct. And then that allows me that at the end of each month, I can look at it and say, did I have a profit or did I have a loss this month? And year to date, or am I at profit or loss this month? Okay, this is a whole class all on its own on how to set your accounting software up appropriately to run it in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent system and through their accounting code system, so that you can see your percentages. Because if our goal is to become a millionaire real estate agent, which ultimately everybody should maybe have that goal, I think that's a pretty good goal, or maybe you even want to get like halfway there, it has guidelines on how much you should be spending on marketing each month or each year, how much you should be spending on lead generation, how much should go to salaries. So it does all of those breakdowns for you. And software like QuickBooks for small business allows you to upload your own account codes and utilize those. So you have you can be more specific to real estate. as well as it will print out a report of the categories based on those codes of where your money is going so that you can make sure that you're staying in alignment on what's considered reasonable. And some items, especially when it comes to like marketing, a lot of us spend way less on marketing because we're kind of hold tight to our dollars. So we don't spend money to make money. And so that's usually one of those areas where you start seeing that, oh, look, I can spend X% on marketing and I'm only spending 2%. I might need to step that up if I'm wanting to grow my business. So just a couple things there. So track, have a P&L each and every month, have some sort of software that you're tracking your income and expenses, not just a bank account, and make sure you're paying attention to that on a regular basis. In addition, make sure you're tracking your mileage. Okay. I personally, you know me, I'm like free, use free things. I've tried so many different mile tracking apps over the years, and I will tell you Mile IQ is the best and the smartest because it tracks all of my drives, whether they're personal or business. At the end of each day or once a week, you can go in there and start logging your check them and say that was business, that was personal, that was business, that was personal. You can sort them out. I do recommend making sure that's an item on your calendar to do. Otherwise, you're going to get to the end of the year and be like, oh, I forgot to do this. Now I have 12 months of drives to go through, and it's going to take you a really long time. Take my word for it. Okay. In addition, Mile IQ, if you're like, you have a listing address and every time you swipe that one to business, it's going to pop up a little bubble and go, it looks like every time you go to this location, it's a business drive. Do you want me to automatically categorize all those drives as business? You're going to be like, yes, please do. So now every time you end up at that address, it's going to automatically categorize that as business for you. And that's one less drive that you have to categorize. So it does some fun things like that. I like Mile IQ. I have yet to find a mileage app that is as intuitive and easy to use as Mile IQ. And most of them, you get in your car, you have to hit track mileage, and then you have to hit stop tracking mileage when you're done or go back and edit it. And I don't know about you, but I can't hardly remember to turn my car on when I get in it. So remembering to turn on an app to track my miles is not going to happen. So Mile IQ just does it automatically in the background for me. Okay. In addition, we want to make sure that hold on. It like skipped a head. That we have branding and marketing. Okay. And we'll go more into this in just a little minute. But any questions so far on any of the items that have been covered? All right, branding. Let's talk about branding. Number one, you can go to branding.realtyonegroup.com. That's going to open up this page right here. Hold on, my window's too small. There we go. It's going to open up this page right here, branding.realtyonegroup.com. This is where you can get into your logo usage, international assets. There's so many things in here that you can utilize for this, social assets, advertising partners. But the most important one is down here under affiliates. And you're going to be like, that's the most random place ever. I know, it's hard to remember. That's why I'm pointing it out to you guys. If you click on affiliates, this is where you're going to be able to pull up your Realty One Group Fox logos. So if we just come in here and type in Fox and hit enter, then that's going to give us our logo kit. And you can download the logo kit. It's going to have all the Realty One Group logos with Fox on them. That's what you have to use in your advertising. It's going to set it up so you could actually download the email signature to edit it and correct it and make it yours. But it's got all the information on there, like top 1%, 36 states. It's been in the 500 for 7 years, 240 locations, 12,000 pros, right? It sets you up for success there with that email signature. You could get black folder. We don't care about that. Your letterhead, look, it's got all sorts of amazing things in here that you can utilize in there. Okay, so that's under affiliates because technically we're not Realty One Group corporate. We're an affiliate group of Realty One Group. That's why it's under affiliates. But there, you can also come in here on the side over here. See, it's got logo, usage, clear space, minimum size, the icon minimum, right? It's got all these things. But here you have The color palette. So if you wanted the color palette to match the Realty One Group logo, right here it has all the codes that you can plug into anything that you're utilizing to customize those colors to match. Woohoo! Right? It also is going to have your fonts. So it's got all the fonts and you can download those fonts. So if you have like Canva Pro, I don't know that you can do it on the free version, but on Canva Pro, you can download the fonts. You can actually upload them into Canva Pro and utilize the exact fonts that match the logo in your marketing materials. They already have them loaded, I believe, in your One Creative or One Design, but this gives you those fonts to be able to use. Here's some other ones down here. Here's the Freeland. So super cool thing. Here's how it talks about like how it should be laid out if you wanted to, but all those are in the branding.realtynegroup.com. Okay, it's also in your One login. Okay. All right. Oh, I clicked on it. I got to make my screen smaller again. Actually, you know what we should do. All right. When it comes to branding, though, consistency, sorry, I'm trying to make my window smaller. So I'm trying to make it come to the front of my screen. All right. Consistency is key. Your logos, if you choose to use a logo, your colors, your slogans, your photo, the filters that you're using, fonts, images, they should all be consistent across all digital and print media. We're trying to create consistency, right? That's like places like Coca-Cola and McDonald's have so much success. As soon as you see those large golden M, you know there's a McDonald's nearby, right? Or as soon as you see the Coca-Cola sign, like even if you can't read it because it's so far in the distance, you know it's Coca-Cola. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create that branding so that people begin recognizing us, whether they can see our whole sign or not. So we want it to be consistent on your website, social media, online portals and profiles, your printed marketing material. You're creating that brand recognition. Okay, so logos, the colors that you're using, the slogan, the photos, the filters, the fonts, the images, they're all going to be consistent. Now, of course, it's not going to change. There we go. In addition with branding, we want to make sure that we have an online presence. Okay, so we want to make sure that we create accounts and keep them updated. You should have a presence on Zillow. You can go in there, even if you're not a Zillow agent, and create a free profile on there so that you pop up in the searches for agents in the area. As well as when you have listings, it will put your information at the very bottom. So make sure that's all in there and accurate. Again, pull in that bio, that one value proposition, pull it all together in there. Same thing with Realtor.com. You can go to Realtor.com and create a free account and edit your profile in there. So please make sure you do that. This is going to include your headshot. So your headshot should be consistent on all platforms as well. You can update your profile in Berries as well. Did you know there's a public search site for Berries? So it's not just agents using it. They can go, I think it's called like greathomes.org is the public facing search for Berries. And people can look up your information in there, as well as you want to make sure your profile is updated in the California Association of Realtors website as well. So your CAR profile. Okay. Following up on that, have you looked yourself up recently, right? It might be a good time to go to Google. You may need to clear your cache out so that it searches appropriately, or search in incognito so it doesn't store stuff, but go and plug in your name and see what comes up. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. So we want to make sure that we're popping up on those searches and that the information that's being presented is as accurate as can be and is what you want the public seeing. You should also have a site on Google. You can actually create your own Google business page. You can create a Yelp business page. You can create a LinkedIn, Facebook, right? And the question that you want to see is when you search yourself and you're looking on all those sites and you've created this bio and your one value proposition, when you're looking at that objectively, would you hire yourself? Okay, so you want to make sure your picture looks friendly, that you look kind and inviting, that your bio presents a good picture of who you are so that people want to hire you. Okay, social media. We mentioned Facebook a moment ago. You know, you've got Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. You've got all these different sites. I recommend, at the very least, pick one social media platform that you think is going to reach your target audience. That's what I'm going to go with. You should know who your target audience is and make sure that the people on the site that you're utilizing are your target audience. Otherwise, you may need to start a new platform. Doesn't mean you can't still have fun on the other platform. Totally continue utilizing that. But the one that we're using that we're going to set up next is going to be set up for reaching that target audience. Okay, for the most part, it's like Facebook and Instagram. That's like the over 18 crowd, the over 20 crowd. That's what they're using. Okay, they're also using Snapchat and TikTok, so don't stray away from that. But you may want something else as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. And on some of those platforms, you can have both business pages. There's also like Pinterest too, side note. You can have a business page or your personal page. Here's my recommendation on that. If you're not going to post stuff and be consistent in posting stuff on a business page, don't have one. Just keep it your personal page. If you're going to consistently post on your business page at least 2 to 3 times per week, then create that business page. It's going to help you have a better online presence when it comes to social media, having a business page. It also, people are going to search for you, and that's just going to add another level of legitimacy there and trust when you have that business page. They're going to be like, oh, they really are who they say they are. Okay. In addition to that, your business page allows you to do things like boost posts, boost open house advertisements, new listings, coming soons. You have to have a business page to be able to do that. You can't do it from your personal page. So just something to consider there. And if you're like, gosh, I don't even know what I would post on a business page. Well, number one, we looked at last Wednesday night, I think it was last Wednesday night, we covered open houses, and I showed people that you can go to listreports.com, and they have on there for free, they have social media posts that you can utilize on there. On car.org, there are social media posts that have been created. On our One Design site, there are social media in there that you can utilize. You just have to tweak it a little bit. So there's so much free content out there. Just utilize what's out there for free. In addition to that, if you've got listings, the office has listings, the office has open houses, like, be creative. You can share those things as well. I highly recommend utilizing an 80-20 rule when it comes to social media. And that is, on a personal page, you want to be 80% personal, 20% business. Okay, so 8 out of 10 posts should be personal, 2 of them should be business. On your business page, we're going to flip that. So 80% of the posts on your business page are going to be business. 20% are still going to be personal, because people still want to know you on a personal level. They want to connect and relate to you. So make sure that you do include some personal content on your business page if you're going to have one. But that's usually kind of a good general guideline as far as a rule of how to balance your posting. And it's even better, especially on your personal page, if you can tie in real estate to what you're doing on a personal level. Like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm a realtor because it allows me to be able to take off to go see my kids' sports games, or whatever that is. Like, be creative, right? In that, and in that, make sure you're posting creative content, like, have fun. And a lot of those things that are pre-designed are ready to go and creative and show value and great information. We already talked about boosted posts. Oh, on your personal page, I would recommend switching it over to public settings so that everybody can see what you're posting. If you're like, but Amy, I use that for all of my family posts, you can set those to private, so you can change the settings back and forth of what people can see and what they can't see, whether they're friends or not friends. So feel free to toggle that on the safety and security settings on that, or start a secondary personal page, one that's really personal, one that's personal, really used for business. So you've got some options there. But if people can't see what you're posting, then you're not going to reach the masses. Just throwing that out there. Okay. Any questions so far on online presence? All right. In addition to our online presence, we want to create marketing materials. Just a reminder that compliance, the DRE, the Department of Real Estate, I'll make sure that on all first points of contact, we have our name, our license number, what brokerage we're associated with, and our brokerage logo should be on there as well. Okay. So all that information should be on any first point of contact, brokerage logo where you can put it. Everything else should be on any first point of contact. And you're like, Amy, what's first point of contact? Well, your social media page is first point of contact. So on your, if you have a business page, you should make sure it has all that information readily available. So if somebody clicked on your business page, they could see your name, your license number, your brokerage, and that it has your brokerage logo somewhere stashed on there. Your open house signs, your any print material that you do, your LinkedIn account, your Pinterest, if you're using that for business. So anything that people might click on or see first while they're trying to have a conversation with you should have all of that information on it. Any questions about your compliance requirements? All right. In addition, your marketing, the details matter if you want results. So it should be consistent. Remember, we already talked about this, the font, the colors, the filters that you're using for photos, the look of the materials. We want consistency across all marketing. So whether it's social media, print, email, we want it all to look very seamless and similar. The quality of materials matters as well. I know when we used to live in Vacaville, we used to get little paper postcards from a blue company that I'm not going to mention the name, and it would have like, you could tell somebody they have like blanket ones and you just write the address in there. So it'd be like, I just sold, and then it'd be handwritten address for the property sold, and they were really cheap looking. Step up your game just a little bit. Don't do things like that. That would be my recommendation. It doesn't have to be the best of the best, but it needs to come across as solid quality materials, because that you want the materials to reflect who you are as an agent. And also on all of your marketing, it should have a call to action or solicit a response from the person looking at that marketing. Okay. In addition, we want to remember that with all your branding in place, with consistency across all the materials, we still want to make sure that we're prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Okay. What does that mean? Prospecting based is we want to get face to face, voice to voice with people, more so than just continuing to mail things out, to put signs up, right? That's all marketing. That's putting something out there, hoping somebody's going to call us and listen to our wonderful crafted voicemail message. But in case they don't call, we want to be prospecting based. That should be your number one activity, is going out there and trying to have conversations with people about real estate, whether it's on social media, whether it's business to business, whether it's door knocking, whether it's cold calling, whatever that is, those conversations are going to be most important. Any questions about marketing or branding or anything that we've covered so far today?
Can you give a, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can't hear you now. I lost you, Kimberly. All right, she'll come back in a minute. The rest of it, I just have some examples of some marketing materials. So again, like just sold, was on the market for 6 months with a different company. It did not sell. Trillium Real Estate listed the house and sold it in 28 days. Call us today to find out, right? They're sharing a story that would make you want to call them over another company. Oh my gosh, this house that was listed, I remember seeing it for sale. This other company got it on the market and got it sold. That's who I want selling my house, right? It's got, this is from a different, probably a different state. So You want to make sure that your real estate license number is on there. So they've got the logo, so that fits. Kimberly asked a question, so I'm going to look that up as I continue to go through these. But make sure, like, if this, she's using green here, so that would want to be like your color on all of your marketing materials. You want it to be consistent. I would say her picture is not really that fabulous. This is in California, just for the record, because I can see the 916 phone number. Her picture is kind of like squatted and squunched, and you can't hardly see it. So make sure that your information is on there and easy to see. See here. Let's check the next one. You'll be surprised how much it also, this one did have, it said, call us today to find out what your home is worth. So it had a call to action on it. You'll be surprised how much your home, how much your Carmichael home is worth today. If you're curious about what your Carmichael home might be worth, here's an easy way to instantly find out what your home would sell for in today's market. Plus, get a free report with up-to-the-minute statistics based on the homes for sale and sold in your Carmichael neighborhood over the last 6 months. To get your free February 2020 report on Carmichael home prices, go to carmichaelhomeprices.com. Right? You can find Carmichael homes for sale at findingcarmichaelhomes.com. There we go. We've got Peter Scott, real estate broker. We've got Scott Realty Consultants. We've got the name. We've got the brokerage. We've got the license number. There we go. Okay. So we've got all that. Let's see here. We just sold your neighbor's home, right? What's your home worth? Call to action there. Super important. I'm almost to answering Claudia's question. Sacramento market update. The market is continually changing. We can help you buy or sell with confidence. Call or email us today for more information. I would almost say call or text, or call, text, or email, because a lot of people now are texting, not emailing. So I think it's important, even on like your for sale signs, you may want to have that information on there, like call or text, so that people know that, oh, I can text that number and get the information. Because, you know, people are afraid of having like actual conversations. So, so just kind of keep that in mind. Let's see here. Lead generation would be under, to answer, I think I said Claudia, but to answer Kimberly's question, general rule speaking for marketing as a percentage of revenue, marketing would fall under lead generation under the MRE budget model. So for the most part, that's going to be about 10% of your income should be reinvested into lead generation or marketing. 10%. Okay. Here's that. Hey, Kara. Let's see. I can't see myself, so I can't see if it's showing up. There we go. There's the MREA budget model if anybody wants to snap that. It's hard to see there. I'll try to snap a picture of it and I'll post it along with, once I get that email greeting, I'll share those both so you guys can see them. And just another example of marketing, Robert Bruce's results, sales and listings, right? Represented. Here are some of the Robert's recent real estate activity: buying your first move up dream home investment property, or selling your family home, estate, land, or investment property. Worked with an experienced professional broker like Robert Bruce. Represented buyers, represented sellers. So it's got some good info there. We can't see the bottom of it, but I'm sure it's got his contact information and logo and his DRE number on there. So those are the things we're kind of looking for. So just some fun things that you can do. These were all like pop by ideas. Well, this one was like I moved, because she moved to a different brokerage. Here's a amazing summer recipe on the back. And I think she actually sent these out. These were a pop by idea where she went and bought those Costco packs with the ketchup, mustard, and relish, and then attach this to it as a pop by. So this one has like the holiday lights tour of the best properties to go see holiday lights on. So just some ideas of things you can put out there or contact with people to create value in your marketing. And as always, make sure it's got your name, the Realty One Group Fox logo, and your DRE number on there. The other rule with DRE number, just so everybody knows, it can't be the smallest thing on the marketing material. Okay, DRE has a rule about that. So usually what you can do is you can add at the bottom, like each office is independently owned and operated. You can make that the smallest text on your marketing material, and then your DRE number is always going to be bigger than it. Any questions about anything that we covered today regarding realtor basics? Agent financials, branding, marketing, all that stuff. All right. Make sure that you log your attendance. The attendance link is in the chat box. Log that. If you have any trainings that you would like to see in the future, there's always a place there to make suggestions on future trainings. Here's some other door hanger ideas. So make sure you make that suggestion. And as always, if anybody needs anything, feel free to reach out. Tomorrow we have Bob Rand, I think is the name. I think I keep saying Bob Brand, but I think it's Bob Rand with an R. Could be wrong on that. Sponsored by Lisa Visa. He's going to come and talk about how to keep yourself out of court. Wah, wah, wah. So that'll be an important class. We have the ability to do it in office, but Lisa and Bob are both going to be on Zoom tomorrow. So you may want to just join us via Zoom. It's totally up to you. But we look forward to seeing you on that training. And then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we're talking about your circle of influence, lead generation to your circle of influence, and getting referrals from those people. All right, everyone have a fabulous day. Thanks for joining me today, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.